Well, hello there. It's been 2 weeks, but welcome back to Unsafe Spaces, and I'm Randy Cross. If you have any suggestions, if you have any comments, I want to remind you again, place to go, send an email to producer@unsafespacesUSA.com. Always appreciate the heads up on stories and articles or any way to make this whole process just a little bit better. Let's take a quick look at the week that was. The highlight or the big news in my life the last 2 weeks was actually last weekend. I did a game at Navy and then flew from D.C. on Sunday morning to San Francisco and ended up down at the new Levi Stadium. They were honoring the 81 49er Super Bowl 16 championship team, and it was 87 Day, honoring Dwight Clark. Fantastic event. Great to see all the guys I played with. Can tell you up close and personal, ALS sucks. Dwight's one of the great people I've known in my life. But like we all know, sometimes it's nothing you can do about it. But the whole event I thought was very well done, outside of the fact that something you didn't see on TV or even really much in the news or hear about is they cut him off during his speech for about a minute or two, and then resumed it, which I know irked many of us to no end. But the fight goes on with ALS, especially for Dwight, and we got to find a way to keep making progress because people do not deserve to go through this. His wife Kelly's doing some amazing stuff, and his family and his friends, but we got to do something about this disgusting disease. All right, let's go and look at the week of football and this last weekend. What exactly went on? All right, college football. Good weekend for that, and pretty much the game of the week was almost like it seemed like every game was a game in the week. But we'll start off in college football with the game that got the most coverage probably, and that was Penn State and Ohio State. Two of the best teams in the country. I believe at the time it was number 2 versus like number 6 or number 7. And Ohio State stormed back at the very end and won that game. Great game by Penn State, just a better game by J.T. Barrett and the Ohio State Buckeyes. And this should push Barrett much higher up on the list there when it comes to the Heisman Trophy. Next up on the list was a game that wasn't so close. And maybe the best team in the country was involved, and that might be the Georgia Bulldogs. They should get votes for number 1. Not sure if they will over Alabama, but I haven't seen anybody in college football play better than UGA the last handful of weeks. They've just been so dominant on all phases. Next game that came up, and speaking of UGA, is their former coach. Mark Richt has the University of Miami undefeated, doing pretty special stuff. They beat North Carolina. North Carolina had every intention, obviously, of upsetting Miami. Miami wasn't having it. And give them credit. Are they dominant? No. I personally think they're the second best team in the state of Florida. I think UCF is better than Miami, but I'm sure I'm quite alone in that opinion outside of Orlando and on campus at UCF. Next up on the list is a team that was number 1, number 2 for a while, and that's Clemson playing Georgia Tech. Driving rainstorm, mistakes, a little sloppy, but Tech clearly was not up to the challenge of Clemson. And to me, Clemson is right there at the edge of back into the top 4 when you talk about the playoff and everything else. And those polls will be kicking in here pretty quick, and we'll see what the people whose opinions matter think of where the Clemson Tigers are. But right now I'd put them number 5 in the country. And the last game was maybe the best one from an excitement and big play standpoint. And I know Ohio State, Penn State, yeah, settle down. But Oklahoma State and West Virginia. At West Virginia, For a good while, this was close, and it was back and forth. Some huge plays. What a joy this was to watch. This game was right there to me with the Ohio State, Penn State game. Oklahoma State has Bedlam coming up this week against Oklahoma, which could solve a lot of issues when it comes to the Big 12. In fact, it will solve a lot of issues when it comes to the Big 12. Let's go over to the NFL side and have a look at some of the stuff. And these are games selected, honestly, solely by me and producer Andrew and Ray. We just kind of go through a list, and these are the ones we just decided to go with. So, you don't like it? So what? On the NFL side, the Falcons almost found a way to lose their third game in a row, but they found a way to win 25-20. It was rainy. It was crappy in New York, and Atlanta found a way to come home with a win. Not sure they would have recovered if they'd have done this again, but they did win, and they do get a chance to snap that losing streak, and it's a good thing. And hopefully it's something they can use going forward. And for those of you that don't think there's a hangover from taking a gigantic dump on worldwide television in the Super Bowl at 28-3, and that doesn't go over into the next year in the back of your mind, you're crazy. All right, next game up NFL-wise was that London game. And why we had to subject the international crowd to this joy, the Minnesota Vikings and the Browns, I got no idea, but I guess everybody gets a trophy and everybody gets a chance to go to London. So the Browns have had their chance to go to London, and they got their butts kicked again. But there was a great crowd, and I'm sure they sold a lot of concessions and lots of hats and lots of jerseys and everything else, and that's why they're there, because it's outside of the United States. That is the number one merchandising market for the NFL. Mission accomplished. Number three is this was not a bad game if you were an Eagles fan. And if you're an Eagles fan, you had to be a little concerned because the social justice warriors out in San Francisco not only managed 10 points against the Eagles, they also harassed the hell out of Carson Wentz. And this will be a little bit of a blueprint, a little bit of a heads up to everybody that plays Philadelphia as to how you get after this offense. Did Niners win? Nah, they didn't. But they did a really good job of disrupting Philadelphia. Next one up is a team that, I'll be honest, I started the season, I was excited about the Raiders and their chances. And there's a lot of people out there that aren't excited about the Raiders right now, and they're turning on them. I'm gonna hold firm here for a little while, but Buffalo dealt with them pretty severely. Not easily, but Buffalo had a long return for a touchdown. I guess you call that a fumble, but it kind of bounced off, deflected, came out of the hand. But Buffalo, good on you. Doing a really nice job. They're undefeated at home. And the Raiders just seem a little bit lost right now. Just a little bit lost. Welcome to the nearly mid-season evaluation period, because there'll be a lot of that going around, and it'll be really harsh. Speaking of harsh, the coaches' situation in college football is worth at least mentioning. So it gets bad, and it gets really bad. It gets personal. It gets nasty. All that people talk about is the millions of dollars and everything else that a coach gets when he goes to a major program. Well, there's openings now. And, besides the obvious ones of, Oregon State and Ole Miss and now the University of Florida, and there's going to be more openings. Remember something very important. The early signing period is December 20th. It lasts for 72 hours. From midnight, December 20th, 72 hours, kids can sign early scholarship offers. And if you're going to make a coaching change, you're not going to wait until the very end of the season, which is around Thanksgiving, because that's going to open you up to a huge amount of change when it comes to signing. Now, the hat flippers, the guys that want to go through signing day in February and all that, this won't affect them. The kids that are serious, the kids that want to leave high school and go into college and compete for jobs and help college programs, they're going to sign early. But they're not going to sign with a team that's not committed to their coach. And there'll be a lot of bouncing back and forth when some of these jobs come open. Because you watch the next week or two, there's going to be a lot of jobs open in college football. Guaranteed. All right, event last night that happened. God, I hate the fact that it happened, but Game 5 of the World Series, I'm a lifelong Dodger fan. I was born in New York, lived in Brooklyn. About the same time as the Dodgers moved out to L.A., so did my family, because my dad was he was an actor, so he's in the movie and TV business. And last night, the Houston Astros in a slugfest. God, you think so? Not much pitching involved, despite some of the excellent. You had Keuchel going for the Houston Astros, and no pitching. Because look at what happened. Just check out some of these highlights. There's going to be a minute of this, and this is not doubles and triples and singles. This is just home runs. Go at it, guys.
Wow! 4-4. Back at the wall. It's gone. Bellinger 7-4. Another 3-2 and a high fly ball at the wall. Tie game. High fly ball. Goodbye. One pitch to Springer and we're tied again. He lifts it into left. Down the line. At the wall. Goodbye. Who's the pitcher of record for the Dodgers? Here's one into right. Back at the wall. It is another home run. McCann. That is hooked down into the corner at the wall. It's gone. It is a one-run game.
Unfortunately, Clayton Kershaw, the Dodgers pitcher, gave up way too many of those. Way too many of those. And my Dodgers are now down 3-2. And I think Game 6 will be tomorrow night, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So while we're doing and putting Inside College Football on CBS Sports Network on the air from 9 to 11, East Coast time, that game will be in the very early parts of it. Because if it's any indication, that game last night, what did it end at 3 o'clock in the morning? It seemed like it. Unbelievable game. But Dodgers down 3-2, and this may be it coming up Tuesday. I don't think so. I think they're going to go 7. All right, time now for my monologue for the week, which is really pretty simple. And it's again going to be about the kneeling in the NFL during the national anthem. And it just seems to kind of go in different directions. It started out as a, kind of social issue about social injustice. And, the Niners have been out in front of it. And I personally wish they weren't, but they are. And it's been something that's been supported by a good bit of the players. And this past week, the Houston Texans owner, Robert McNair, not to be confused with the Dallas Cowboys owner, Jerry Jones, and his son, Steven, and their football team, but made this statement: we can't have the inmates running the prison. Now, let's start with the fact that very poor choice or stumble of words. What really comes to mind, and I'm not putting words in his mouth, is can't have the inmates running the asylum. A little bit different reference, and it would have been taken completely differently, and that's not how the guy said it. So what he said is what he said. Let's go through a little checklist. Let's be problem solvers. Let's go to solutions, okay? you want to make this as clean as possible. I think the NFL does. But I got to be honest. This is the first time I've seen the NFL and the ownership look just pathetic and weak. They don't know what to do. They have no consensus. And from lack of action, they look worse and worse as the weeks go on. Here's one solution. You go back to the way it used to be. You stay in the locker room until after the national anthem. Then you don't have any problem. You want to kneel when you get on the sideline after that? Get at it. Fantastic. But you don't have them disrespecting the flag and the national anthem and everything that stands for. And you're not going to change my mind. And obviously there's a lot of people out there that I'm not going to change yours. But it is disrespecting our flag, disrespecting a lot of things associated with the fat flag, including people that have served in our military. So I think you stay inside and you're not out there for the national anthem. Second of all, you keep up your work in the community. The NFL's got a huge hammer PR-wise, and it's just started this week now. You're hearing more and more about the good things, the positive things, the things besides Deshaun Watson with 100 and something homes that he gets for people in the Houston community. Things like that. That's what the NFL should be selling, not this garbage before the game starts that really solves no problems. Yeah, we're aware life's not fair. Yeah, we're aware there's social problems in America. Newsflash. Okay, great. Move along. Number 3, hey, you know what, NFL owners? It's your game. And if you're not going to act like it and you don't act like you care about it and the perception of it, you're going to get exactly what you deserve. And that's going to be ticket sales are going to go down. Viewership's going to go down. It's going to suffer until you decide to really, as a group, do something assertive and definitive. You're going to get this erosion. And that's just a fact of life. So that's just me, and that's how I think. All right, number 1, Botox, clown makeup, and butt hurt. Now, how do you get those 3 all in the same story? Pretty easy, thanks to Kathy Griffin. Now, the face doesn't move much, and I really didn't know until I saw this next picture, which leads into the video. I didn't know Kathy Griffin was a juggalo. But this is clown makeup. I don't care how you look at it. But she had her own new story, new twist on the Harveys.
Hey everybody, it's me, Kathy Griffin, and I come to you today with the tale of 2 Harveys.
Harvey Weinstein and Harvey Levin from TMZ. That to save you the time of going through that whole video, she actually plays on her little podcast a voice message from Harvey Levin, leaving his cell phone to give him a call. Class act. Always nice to have somebody's cell phone published on the internet because that goes so well, and everyone reacts so good to stuff like that. She is a clown, and it's best somebody's not consulting her well, because it would be a lot better for her, I would imagine, if she'd just take her little clown-looking butt and go away. Number 2, butt hurt of a week. Life choices come into play. And here's some life choices. Thousands down in Australia at a tattoo fest. Now, I got nothing against tattoos. I don't have any. But you look at people and they've got them on their arms. They got them on their legs. Some people have them on their throats and their chests. Or some people get a little carried away like that guy with the whole look and this guy with the whole look and the augmentations and the holes. But the eyes? Seriously? Injecting blue ink or black ink into your eyes? Ugh. And what everybody needs? You need a good pentagram on the inside of your eye, because nothing screams hire me like a pentagram on your eye to go with your black or blue ink in your eyes, obviously. Hey, the state of Florida rarely disappoints us, and they've done it again. They do not disappoint us when it comes to this story. This is a story of a woman down in Florida, a 20-year-old woman by the name of Shelby McDowell, who has an ex-boyfriend by the name of Darby Johns. She's not too clear on the concept of what ex means because she knew that he was going to a wedding. She showed up at the wedding, and all kinds of crazy hell ensued. She was throwing drinks on people. She was throwing cake on people. And a comment from her, she goes, "I'm aware that going to a wedding uninvited is wrong. I'm aware that pouring a drink on someone is also wrong. I just wanted to see if Darby, the dude, was really cheating. He's an ex. That's not cheating. So I could know it was forever over between us. If it wasn't, it is now. It was always about him, never Crystal. Crystal being the other person, I guess, in this triumvirate. I never intended for there to be a scene." No, see, you show up at a wedding and a reception, uninvited, throwing drinks, and punching people. That's, by its basic nature, the definition of a scene. But thank you, Florida. You've done it again. And, man, that's all I can say is Florida never disappoints. All right, time now for real world news. Hey, there's a name in the news, very familiar name. Tesla, sound familiar? Electric cars. Elon Musk has another little side project. He wants to do a high-speed tube down in Southern California. And he's actually bored his own, in fact, he's got a company called Boring Company that has bored this hole. And it'll be a high speed. I guess the analogy would be, do you know in a delivery system where you have pneumatic tubes, kind of at the bank, where the pneumatic tube shoots the little thing to you, and you reach out and you take it out of the tube and put your package in there and push the button and it goes. Well, same kind of a deal. But the analogy between Howard Hughes and Elon Musk just came to mind for me, only as a guy that studied history some. Howard Hughes had the Spruce Goose, which is the world's largest wooden plane that flew down in Long Beach Harbor decades and decades ago. He proved the point that it could fly. It never flew again, and it was basically a big waste of money. I just want to make the point that Elon Musk and his pneumatic tube, or his magnetized tube, may be doing the same thing. But he'll be damned if the Hyperloop One will not have a certain amount of it completed. I'm sorry. In a tube, underground, in Southern California. Hello, does the term earthquake mean anything to anybody? Do you really want to be in a tube in Southern California going a couple 100 miles an hour when the big one hits? I guess it'd be painless, but it would definitely be the end. Next up in the real world news, if you didn't see it, keeping track of corporations and big business, CVS, the pharmacy chain, decided to make a bid to buy Aetna, a $66 billion deal. And they say the whole idea of this is to cut drug costs. So let me get this right. The biggest pharmacy chain in America that makes a lot of money off drugs is going to buy an insurance company that makes a lot of money off drugs. And the idea of doing this and spending $66 billion is to cut drug costs. When did major corporations become philanthropists? So they want to cut our costs at their expense so they make less profits? Damn. Approve that merger. That sounds like a hell of a deal. I don't buy it. What a crock. It ain't happening. The deal will probably happen. And they'll probably all make a bunch of money. But it ain't going to be about us paying less for our drugs. Last one on the real world news, and everyone's seen this. You know, the iPhone X is coming out. The iPhone 8 has come out. Before we play this little ad for Apple, I want to share something. Have you noticed, have you done the software updates for your phone, for your Apple phone? And have you also noticed that since you did those updates, there's new glitches on your phone and your battery doesn't last as long? And it does automatic resets it's not supposed to do, and you're losing information. You know the solution to that? Hey, maybe you need a new iPhone. Boy, does Apple have a program for you.
You are my best friend and we've got some things to do.
Wow, what a deal. Remote charging. Talking emojis.
Yo, you wanna meet me in the club? Yo, you wanna meet me downtown?
Really? 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 Who around that table thought it would be a good idea to have a talking turd? Apple? I got no idea what the hell you're thinking. But there's no coincidence, by the way. Your phone will continue to be screwed up until you buy their new phone. And the new phone will have this one thing in common with the old phone. The damn batteries don't last long enough. The charge doesn't hold. And they do too many damn things, and you leave windows open, they suck your battery dry. But it's a new toy, and you gotta have it. It's a status symbol. All right, let's go move on to tinfoil hat. There's our girl. Number one in the tinfoil hat. Actually, there's only two stories today. It features one of the most recognizable people and high-profile entertainers in the world, and that's Jay-Z. He of the husband of Beyonce. Yeah, he was caught shape-shifting, and that's got nothing to do with that cigar he's smoking, on a United flight to LAX. They caught him right in mid-shift. Not unlike that. Check this out.
Dozens of United Airlines passengers claim they saw Jay-Z shapeshift into a reptilian as the rapper and music mogul traveled between New York City and Los Angeles on Friday. One witness, writing about the experience on Twitter, said the shit hit the fan in business class when Jay-Z lost control and began shapeshifting in front of the other business class passengers. Scary. He kept changing shape. He knew more and more people were watching, and he got angrier and angrier when he couldn't stop.
Yeah, he couldn't stop as he was shifting there. And supposedly he went to the bathroom for an extended period of time to shift in privacy. I love it. I love stories like this. Several passengers noted. Really? They have any names? They want to corroborate this? I doubt it. Number two in the tinfoil hat section is, hey, you own real estate. Let's say you own a horse ranch, and you want to sell it. You've had it for a while, but there's a lot of reasons you want to sell it. But like everyone else, you want to put your best foot forward. Check out this guy's story. He owns a ranch in Arizona, but it's alien infested. Yeah, alien infested, and not in a little way. I mean, quite a bit alien infested. Not just horses on this ranch, not just tumbleweeds on this ranch, not just he and his wife and the horses on this ranch. This guy's got a little bit of a problem. He is not alone, and they come to visit. Check this out.
about it, but there's also this other ranch where a lot of strange things have taken place over the years, and it's called the Stardust Ranch. And the current owner, who's owned it for quite some time, is now selling it, and this has been on the news, after aliens apparently had tried to abduct his wife.
Almost immediately from the day we moved in, we began to have strange experiences.
John Edmonds and his wife purchased the property in 1995 with hopes of it being a peaceful place to operate their Hopeful Hooves horse rescue and live in the country.
This ranch has been just about anything except that.
John first started seeing mysterious lights in the sky, followed by orange orbs. That's when the uninvited guests arrived.
Literally gray aliens that attacked animals. They were in the house.
John recalls one unforgettable experience involving gray aliens attacking his wife.
Actually levitated her out of the bed in the master chamber, out into the parking lot, and tried to draw her up into a craft.
Up into a craft. Will that all fit on your sales portfolio for your ranch as something, maybe a reason you should buy this ranch? You know, you could get abducted. Are they legal residents? Can you claim them on your insurance? That you have all these extra little alien beings, all these little grays living on your ranch? You can't make this up, and thanks to people like this, you don't have to. All right, let's go to one of the closing parts, but also one of my favorite parts, and that's our feel-good story of the week. Because no one feels better than a little guinea pig eating watermelon. Now, there's a lot of people that probably out there that don't or wouldn't know that this movie exists. It's called Let There Be Light. It's a movie starring Kevin Sorbo, who was Hercules on the TV series back in the day. And I believe it sounds like a good movie. It came out last weekend. I think early, given the limited release that was in, it did quite well. The other part that might make this movie at least known is Sean Hannity, the Fox News host from his nighttime show, is the executive producer of this movie. It is a Christian faith-based movie. So, you know, it automatically means there's a good percentage of people that will say, I won't watch that for whatever reason. I can't begin to tell you. But I will tell you from the story, from the trailer, I'm going to definitely be watching this movie. Check this out.
Yeah, I'm coming.
You're drunk?
Oh, you can't pull the wool over your eyes.
The basic tenet of Christianity is...
Whoa. Don't you dare tell me about the love and the compassion of your so-called God.
What do you think it does to the boys to take the death of their brother and use it as part of your carnival act?
Pays the bills.
Daddy!
Clinically dead in the ambulance for 4 minutes. It's a miracle.
I saw Davy. And all I wanted to do was I wanted to put my arms around him. I don't know what to do with it.
You've gotten the best scientific explanation. It hasn't brought you any comfort. Would you consider consulting a different source?
Doc, he is your God, and he's holding out his hand to you. All you gotta do now is take it. Jesus gets whacked, right?
Well, I've never exactly heard it put that way, but yeah.
Follow me here. This ain't brain surgery.
Do you believe that God hears?
God always answers prayers. Sometimes we just don't understand the answers.
This better be good.
That's what I said. I don't want to lose you.
So let there be light.
My first question is, are you guys ready for the amount of heat that'll be coming your way with this?
Now, watching the trailer, I can't decide if that was an interview with the actors with the executive producer, or a scene from the movie where the talk show host is interviewing the characters. Either way, if you're so inclined, check out Let There Be Light. Seems like it'd be a good family-style entertainment, of which we don't see a whole hell of a lot of that when it comes to family-style entertainment. Want to thank you for watching again this week. Remind you that from a social media standpoint, there's a lot of places to find us. You can find us at unsafespacesusa.com. You can find us on Twitter, on Facebook, on SoundCloud, on YouTube. We're all over. iTunes. We get it done. And hopefully you enjoyed it. And if you have any suggestions, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, that you'd like to give us for stories or whatnot, send them to producer@unsafespacesusa.com. Time now to say happy trails.
Happy trails to you until we meet again. Who cares about the clouds if we're together? Just sing a song and bring the sunny way.